Ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your host, Jim Bob Ovalshorts, and tonight we're bringing back our show friend, Voila-Me. He's a cool guy I met over there on the TikTok, and we follow each other on Instagram and in a couple other places as well, and try to keep in touch with each other, and like to talk conspiracies and what ifs and government corruption and all the good stuff, the good stuff that we're all about coming together and talking about out here. I think we've got a good one planned tonight. There's some pretty interesting, untalked about, spicy kind of types conspiracies that we've all been chatting back and forth about in the past couple days, and figured it'd be good to make an episode out of them. And I figured Voila-Me would be a great person to have on to do such a conversation. Hopefully you guys are familiar with him. He's pretty active out there on all those social medias doing his thing. And he's been on quite a few episodes over here with us. We love having those return guests. We love having those people that, reach out and kind of want to be a part of things like this. We've made a lot of fantabulous friends in doing this thing. And if it's one thing that I love doing is giving a platform for others to get out here and spread their message that they feel has been censored or doesn't get talked about enough. That was kind of a thing with me being able to put this on all the platforms. Was I wanted all of you out there, all around the world, to have a place to come and voice your thoughts, your opinion, your point of view, and keep that in mind. I really mean it. Just reach out to me if you ever feel like joining us and having some of these conversations with us. Well, you're more than welcome to be on here. You'd be surprised at how many of our fans get out to me, and I've invited them over here to the show. It's kind of a thing. Like Steven, for example, such a great cat, man. Hey, bud, I know you're watching. And that's what I want to do. Though, is I want to bring all these voices to light. I know what it's like to be silenced. I know what it's like to be not heard. That's what led me to kind of creating this show, to get those voices out there, and while doing so, show you all that we're a lot more alike than we are different, and we need to come together regardless of where we're from, because me and you aren't enemies. You and them aren't enemies, but that one little percent up there at the top that's pulling the strings and ruling your entire life through the pen are definitely the enemies of mankind, I would think. So, and that's what we're here to do, is talk about these wild plausibilities that could be, couldn't be, might even just be some kind of crazy stuff from another universe, but you never know unless you talk about it. Am I right? And of course, you guys, when you want to talk about all this stuff and all the fantabulous things we share to go along with this stuff, you hop on over there to everybody's favorite website, unconstitutionalawakening.com. Man, that's the home of everything, and that's where I'll share all your links with each episode, all the links to get back to all of our awesome guests. Each episode is up there as well, on top of episodes of me on the Red Pill Project and episodes of other people's podcasts that we have been so graciously invited to go and join. All of that's in the podcast and more section, and there is much, much more over there. So y'all hop on over there and check it out. There's also links from right there that you can go and just watch the episodes for on Rumble, Odyssey, or BitChute, whatever is your choice of choosing, of course. Every now and then we throw an episode up on YouTube. It just depends on how spicy we get. And of course, as you can see, we're on all of the podcast streaming apps worldwide. There's even some that aren't listed here. I keep finding us popping up in more and more places, and man, it's a beautiful thing to see. And I thank each and every one of you every time that I log in and see all of these numbers and stuff from you guys from all over the world. You guys are freaking awesome, and you rock, and you're the reason we keep doing this, man. While you're hanging out over there, if you feel like listening to the most recent episode, you can totally do that as well. There's also a link to get to our fantabulous merch store to get you some Freedom Pirate merch, man. There's all kinds of great things from, all kinds of things to fit your need right over there at the merch store. And then just below that, at the bottom of the page where you can, subscribe, of course, and sign into the page and leave us messages and send us messages. There's also the spot for our friends in Liberty. We've got Kirk Elliott, PhD, doing his gold and silver and helping you invest. We got Peachy Key Creations with energy healing and natural homemade soaps and remedies and teas. Ammo Can Survival, taking care of all your play carrier and surviving needs. Brett Pike with classicallearner.com and Homeschools Connected, and even our newest sponsor, Pure Pet Wellness, who will be listed, of course, with this episode. And I'm working on getting their stuff on the homepage of the website. It is coming soon, so y'all guys keep checking back on that. But Pure Pet Wellness deals in CBD for pets, man. You guys move on that stuff. It's these small companies, man. These are the guys that keep the economy going. These are the guys that are making it happen. Let's take our money away from these giant corporations that are holding us by the balls and controlling our life and turn it back to the mom and pops, the real people out there making things that are safe and effective and are trying to make sure that they're taking care of you, not scratching the back of some jockey up there on Wall Street or sitting in Washington. You know what I'm saying, you guys? So again, I think tonight's going to be an amazing episode. We've got some amazing stuff to talk about. So you guys buckle up, because I know, as I said before, it's time to set sail. So let's get it, y'all. All right, everybody. I'm so glad you guys could join me tonight. I'm glad to see Neptune down over there in the corner, and Bandit's back tonight too. We missed you last night, buddy. You'd had some fun on here. The guest we had last night, she kept bringing up some stuff, man, that I was like, man, if Bandit was here, he'd totally have an input on it. But I'm glad that you're back tonight, man. I appreciate it. And as I said, you guys, we had Voila-Me joining us this evening. I hadn't talked to him in a little while and totally needed him back on an episode before we rounded out the year and such. So it's always great conversation to have you over, man. I'm super excited to have you back on tonight. I hope you're doing well, man. How's things going over there?
Man, it's pretty well, man. Thank you so much. It's about 20-some degrees outside. We're getting ready for this ice in Colorado.
Oh, I'm
20-something here, so I gotcha.
I'm truly sorry. I'm still in shorts and cowboy boots because it's chilly, but I mean I can still tolerate it. The guy at work was asking me today. He's like, Jim, how come you're running around with a hoodie on and the hood up, but you're still in your shorts and cowboy boots? I was like, once you have that nice crisp air conditioner running through while you're moving refrigerators, you kind of just enjoy that nice crisp air conditioner running through while you're moving refrigerators.
It's almost 60 degrees here.
I mean, yeah, same here, dude. Like it's rainy, but it's still 60 degrees. So what can I say? Like upper 50s anyway.
Lucky.
So I do apologize that it's cold where you are at, my friend. Like I'm not a fan of that.
Outside.
Me neither. I'm a southern boy coming up here, seeing snow. I picked it up one time. I was like, all right, that's enough.
My kids keep asking me, can we go see some snow? And I'm just like, sure, right here on YouTube. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I was like, I did my time in Western New York and in Colorado, and I'm good. Like, there's too much snow in both of those places for me to ever want to see snow again.
Fact.
It's not, snow is not bad. It's just the amount of snow.
It's
Sure.
having the proper clothing
Yeah. And the proper transportation,
and the proper transition from layers. So when you're going,
I know how to stay warm. That's not the problem.
No, it's not.
that's not
It's
the
when you're
problem.
outside, you're walking for like 2-3 miles, and then you go inside and you boil alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing I hate more than going somewhere that's way too fucking hot. I'm like, bro, like, there's no reason to leave it at fucking 80 degrees. Nobody needs to be rocking around naked in your house. Like, why? Why? Why is it 80 degrees?
It stays a nice 70 degrees in the house.
Yeah, that's what the smart people do.
That's what the smart people do.
So, speaking of that, it's like, wasn't it Colorado where they had like those 10,000 homes that were connected wirelessly to the thermostats were connected wirelessly, and they got locked out of their temperature control for their houses?
Yes, it was, and they were showing you an example of what they're gonna do to your
shit. Do you remember the old school the manual turn knob thermostats? That's what we got in the house. They're not stopping me from turning it up to 90 degrees if I want to, man.
So I have a few Nest, and I know exactly what that was. Now, you usually could just turn it off. So this is the thing. I am sure everybody could turn it off. They just had no idea how to.
Nobody knows how to take care of their own stuff anymore.
No,
Jimmy and I just had this discussion the last couple of days. I had to replace the drain and take the automatic pull lever for the water stopper out of the bathtub and change all of that by myself. And I'm like, 80% of grown men now, maybe three quarters of grown men now have no idea how to do
what you did
repairs on their own houses.
Honestly,
I do most of it, but I really don't want to do the ceiling. I have to do the ceiling in one place. I'm like, I don't have the best knowledge for fixing the ceiling to make it look nice and crisp.
No,
and perfect.
Let's be real, gentlemen. There's going to be there's an area somewhere where all of us kind of already draw the line because we may have attempted it and it failed.
No, it's a ceiling, and I really don't want to fuck it up.
I know. There's certain things in the house that you'll see that you'll be like, he tried to do that himself. I mean, I did a pretty good job. It's not a Band-Aid. I got better than a Band-Aid on it. It's just I'll probably have to redo it here in a little bit.
So this was just completely wild off subject. Voila-Me. Before you got on here, I was playing around because I like to do my pirate jokes at the end, and I was playing around with an AI generator because Luis inspires me to play with AI, even though I dislike it on so many different levels. And I was being funny and thought I'd throw in a pirate joke and see what it would send back to me.
Yeah.
And so I asked it, I've actually got it pulled up. So I asked it, I said, why did the pirate pull up his eye patch? And I was going to, because it claims to be modeled off of, it's trained on tens of thousands of Conan O'Brien monologues. And once you start writing a sentence, the model will come up with a few possible ways to finish the zinger.
Oh, I mean, Conan O'Brien's pretty political. That's why.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot more sense now. I wish you wouldn't have done that, but still,
it's in the picture. It's in the picture I sent you, sir. And so I ask it this question, and I'm just like, all right, what's it gonna do from here? And it jumps over to giving me these just insane, wild, off the wall answers. Like I don't have any way to put words to it. Like I'm gonna read the first one on here just because of how incoherent it is. But there's three of them. You guys come and read them, and we're gonna share some stuff with this because there's more to go into this as I'm getting into this for a second.
You got more content.
It said,
"Why?" I might read these in the most deadpan voice I possibly could, just because that's the intended delivery method here.
Actually, I have the text. Well, yeah, that's good. Tristan, do it.
Do it.
I was gonna say let's have a computer read it out, but actually, it's better if Tristan just reads it.
Why did the pirate pull up his eye patch? I won't stop resecting me. Obama was a politically through 100 record called The Apple High Head, and I'm Grand Suitor.
Like,
it's brain breaking.
they get worse as they go.
That
And
second one's giving me a headache.
The second one was pretty rough, and the third one gets into talking about like, Joe Biden and Russia and stuff like that. And I had said something to Luis about it. I sent it to him because this is happening like right as I'm sitting down turning on the show.
Yeah.
And I said something to Luis about it, and he's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "I think you broke it." And I was like, "I don't know." And I was like, I asked it a simple question. And so Luis being Luis starts playing with his fancy smancy AI that he's got going on all the time, and started and typed these paragraphs into that Midjourney AI that he uses to make all of his artwork that he does and stuff. And it just started coming back with some of the most off the wall shit,
really high quality stuff,
but really high quality stuff at the same time.
Okay, let me see. I can't.
This one doesn't make any sense. Like the words don't. All right.
Why does Biden look like Ric Flair in that?
Why does Biden look like Ric Flair in that first one? And like, but the Biden ones were interesting. But then you get shit like this.
What?
All right, and then you got this
Twilight
thing.
Zone.
That's funny.
All right, and
like Batman villains.
Bandit pointed out he didn't like how that there's a hole in all the eye patches. Like, what's the deal there?
Yeah.
It's for the cyborg eye. You guys should know this by now.
Yeah,
It's
real.
not a mystery. It's for the cyborg eyes. It's actually a cyborg.
And then what's the deal with the Pixar characters that keep popping up on all these?
Oh, by the way,
he's got the Assassin's Creed logo on his pirate hat.
He does.
That's hilarious.
Oh.
And then we get into the Obama ones.
Wow.
And then
that kind of looks like the Obama costume that he was caught at Bohemian Grove wearing. You remember that pic?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
This man out here playing pirates.
Why does he have a nose ring?
I don't know. I don't know what. I don't. And
Some
this
of
is
the
the one
subtle-
Luis was talking about.
Some of the subtle details in these are,
He looks like a G.I. Joe villain.
Well, as I was saying to Luis a few minutes ago before you got on here, Voila-Me, like I thought it was, as somebody who's been kind of, I guess, generally keeping up with this Midjourney a little bit since Luis at least showed it to me. It's come a really long way from some cool pictures he made with us to making some very realistic humans without even trying.
Speaking of that, it's like I follow there's a couple of people that I follow on TikTok that are heavily into this AI stuff, and they have created certain cryptid. They've created a cryptid for each state. They've created fast food guardians or fast food warriors, and what the warrior for each state would look like.
Wow.
Some of them are.
That's the creativity part that comes out of this.
Some of that stuff is wild, dude. I know Kentucky's was or no, I guess KFC's warrior was Colonel Sanders.
Oh wait, is this the animator? This can't be the one where it's all fat guys.
No.
There's one guy that turned every superhero into a big fat slob.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's not the same guy, but they've got one that where the guy does a warrior for each state, a guardian for each state, and like a warrior for all the fast food restaurants. And I guess he inputs like all of like the landmarks for the state and whatever. I don't know how he does it, but it's everything you see, everything that comes up is totally accurate.
Yeah, that AI is learning at an incredible rate, man. Like it's outrageous.
There's 1 million people using Midjourney. 2 million,
and it just continues learning and gathering and becoming more advanced, on its own.
It's only 20 people. Actually, it's less than 20.
Yep,
that's it.
You've been seeing that new Lensa app where people have been doing the AI on themselves.
So that's called Stable Diffusion. So that's I can run it. You want to see how it looks? You want to try the one, basically the framework of Lensa? I can. This
Skynet
running
is
from my
real.
computer. So,
Right.
Jimmy, if you want me to share, I can share the screen and I can show you how it looks.
Skynet is Starlink, and it's in
So you
every
can see what's
continent.
Midjourney.
Yeah, Starlink's garbage, man. If Starlink is Skynet, then we've got nothing to worry about.
Great value, Skynet.
Yeah, it's like the generic knockoff Walmart version of Skynet.
I was actually seen a video of a guy today in like a Tesla or whatever, and there was regular folks like you and me, Bandit, would be in pickup trucks asking the guy questions, genuine questions.
Yeah,
And
You're watching it update, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it's doing.
and he and he was telling him how his map has all of the charging stations outlined, and if he doesn't follow the map and stop when it tells him to stop, that he very well could run out of power during his trip. And I was just like, wait, what? Like,
So you got Optimus Prime on the dashboard. I need a charge.
well, yeah, man. It's like if the battery dies and like goes like fries itself in a Tesla, you cannot sell that Tesla until you replace the battery because you are locked out of the computer.
Ooh, that's not a good thing. I'll stick to my old school car then. I don't need my car super electronic.
I mean,
carburetor driven.
they're
Yeah, carburetor.
I mean, electric vehicles are so much garbage, man. They have their purpose, like in a large metropolitan environment. They're
once
feasible.
that's fixed, so I'll say what's the positives and negatives, because also there's a lot of other problems with the system. If fusion, which I love, the State Department said that it's going to they are aiming to use it for energy security. So that's the first time.
The last 5 words of their statement.
The government has never spoken about energy security and nuclear in the same sentence for decades.
Never.
That's what I'm saying. It's surprising to hear.
There was a statement that was put out by the State Department, and I think that's what you're referencing, Luis. And they said the first 6 or 7 sentences was all about energy independence, and then the last
also the fusion
the last 5 words was what disturbed everybody by saying that the Department of Defense was going to use it for the security of our nation.
Ooh. What? That's like putting up an electric fence. It's not gonna work, baby.
I mean, they still haven't gotten it net positive, though. Fusion is still not net positive.
No, it is. That's what the breakthrough was. That's literally what I'm trying to tell you. That was it was the first time they were able to actually make it work.
It's not on a large scale, though.
I got the article pulled up whenever you.
Oh yeah. So last thing. So here is. I'm going to show you real quick. This version you can run on your computer. If you want me, I can show you the process. If you have a decent, powerful computer, maybe 2018, have good power, you can run this on your own computer. I'll send you the links later if you like. Just follow a few steps, and boom, you have it. So this actually even just updated. So these are different options. You can add more to the extensions. You can add more things. Yes, it is very complicated. Midjourney, easy. But this can be just as good as Midjourney or better. See, this is training. So if I add enough data, I can make my own based off the training I give it. So Lenza, what they're doing is basically running this. So give me something to look up to create. Let's go. Give me one, Wallaby.
Okay. Something interesting or just anything?
Wizard
Whatever
tattoo.
you like.
Wizard tattoo. There you go. Right.
Wizard sleeve.
An emerald wizard tattoo.
Okay.
And a can of beans.
With a can of beans.
In a can of beans. Gonna say, go with the old wizard sleeve.
Emerald wizard tattoo.
I've got my flaming. I've got my flaming sword and I've got my dragon. I just need to get my
Okay, no,
Oh,
but
wait.
wait. Let's get it complete. An emerald wizard tattoo. Keep going.
Does the string have a limit, or
With a
does
can
it
of
just get
beans.
more neurotic?
We're gonna keep adding to it with a can of beans.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be
Okay,
great.
I got a good one to end this.
All right, all right.
My
Oh,
toaster
Bandit or Bandit, give me one. Whatever you can imagine. Come on, the crazier the better. Hell, could be a phrase, could be a sentence, could be nothing.
Weapons of ass destruction.
There you go.
This
My
one
toaster-
doesn't have a word filter, so we can say whatever we want on this one. Oh, that's
Nice.
I mean, they
Alright.
added some filters. It was
No.
more crazy before,
No,
but
what-
it's still cool.
No. Montana musket loader.
Ooh.
This is gonna be interesting.
I am fascinated about
Alright,
where we're
Neptune.
gonna go,
Neptune.
ladies and gentlemen.
Don't
We
look
really
that.
know.
Don't look that
Neptune,
up
how
on
many
Urban
clues it?
Dictionary.
Okay,
toaster
one more.
pants on fire.
Don't look that up on Urban
Toaster
Dictionary.
pants on fire.
Yep,
All
Wait,
right.
okay, what was the last one?
toaster pants on fire. Toaster, as in bread toaster. Toaster pants on fire.
All right. Okay, so
It's gonna be
shit.
absolutely fucked.
this is I'm gonna leave it at 7. So okay, so this I'll give you a real quick part of this. This is different models, right? And then here I can give it a model. And then it was gonna select that model anyway, but I can change it. So this is like the baseline. So this big files, but this is means random, just like any random seed. And these are separate scripts to create different additional elements to it. And one last thing I gotta check. Okay, high res on and tile and restore faces. Because if we potentially want faces, right?
Sure.
So if I don't hit that, sometimes the faces get super distorted. All right, so I'm gonna leave it generating. Now you can go into whatever. But yeah, this will take like a minute or two.
Oh, okay, we can. Well, while you're letting it do that, I did want to pull up that energy thing.
Yes. So let me turn this off and
that you were
Yep,
just
there you go.
speaking on over there, because what is it? Because they announced a 29 million in fusion energy technology development.
Wow.
20 that
That's
has
old
to be a
ones,
typo.
yeah.
No,
No.
that has to be a typo. 29 million is like me spitting in a bucket and
Yeah,
telling
that
somebody
isn't that
This is
isn't
the
old one.
ocean.
That's from 2020.
It has
I
salt
see
in it.
now.
Yeah.
But it's a bucket like this big and you spit it in it once, and that's how little money you're giving it compared to the bucket it needs. It needs 29 billion.
That was the only thing that I found.
That's like giving 29 million to Ukraine. They need to give billions.
Yeah. If it doesn't have a B, it's not for me.
You said it.
You said
No,
it.
This is the thing. It's not helping the people of Ukraine.
No, we already
No.
I'm
know.
working
We know
with a
this.
friend who's
We
been
know.
working to
Okay,
whatever
all
he
right,
can, and
it was
they're not helping the
2.5.
people.
Here it is. That was
2.5
helping the people,
billion?
2.5 billion.
Yeah, there you go.
That sounds about right. Because they don't do nothing less than a B.
Well, I mean,
And
that was
State
that was
Department.
that was
And
an
that'll
Still
last
in the
6
trillions.
months.
that was
That'll
the
last 6 months.
that was okay. It was my mistake at the beginning. That article I showed you was from 2020, and that was from the official energy.gov.
If it only cost us 29 million to break fusion, how much money have we been spending on this shit? Or we literally could have a new Einstein and nobody knows about him yet.
We do. We've already had him on here, bro.
No, I mean that is yes, but
Julian.
I mean in the realm of fusion energy, not like he is in pyrolysis reactors and that. But I mean,
Who
if
knows where
Julian
he
could go
from
into
there.
Julian's smart enough to go into nuclear. I'm not
Yeah.
going to take it out of him. He
Yeah.
is likely smart. I mean, he's literally 19, so likely he might go into fusion reactor.
All right,
After
so-
he conquers this, he might go to the next one.
So I don't understand why the article itself, every time I click on it, the one that you guys are trying to talk about, will not pull up. But it is.
Try to
it
see
does-
if you have ad blockers or something that's blocking it.
I've tried a
Or
couple
another
different things.
browser.
I've tried a couple different things and it's not pulling up. So
Weird. Send it in the chat.
it's going to it's just going to their website. Like that's all it's doing. It's not. It's redirecting.
Oh, it's
me to
redirecting because it does no longer exist.
okay. And it was the announcement for 2.5 billion for all of this, and I guess it's supposed to go to facilities in Ohio, Tennessee, and Michigan.
Man, these countries throwing money to Ukraine like Oprah used to do for people. You get a billion, you get a billion. All these countries throwing.
We're pledging how many billion to the next few years to the entire continent of Africa now for infrastructure development.
They trying to go get that gold they just found. They just need a reason.
Yeah.
No, so I believe it's over 100 billion or 110 billion.
For what?
Well, it says it's
The continent of Africa, which is literally also doing the equivalent of here's a
zero. Yeah.
Is this the Bloomberg article by chance? Because it's behind a paywall.
Just turn off your cookie. Just turn off the cookies.
I mean, no, Bloomberg has some that are super gatekeep. I'll say one thing. There's there's the vision of Bloomberg that's pretty good, but it's mainly finance and like deeper, like boring political news, but it's valid because this is how we learn. There are certain people like Noodleman, which is very evil and is part of the State Department. And people like her are the ones that said "fuck the EU" a few years ago. There's a clip you can find of Victoria Kagan Noodleman saying "fuck the EU."
Well,
that's her State
really
Department.
fuck the EU.
No, this is the thing. This is the thing people don't get. She was there in the Obama administration, and she was the whole "fuck the EU" thing. Ukraine, remember 2014? That's when it really started.
Yes.
The war didn't start in 2021.
We sponsored it. We sponsored it in
started in
2014.
2014. And the only thing they were supposedly saying is like Trump was preventing it from, like, that's how it didn't escalate under his
I
administration.
think I've come up with a solution.
Yeah.
It's going to involve everybody getting at least one emu.
We can't not the emus will be ineffective in the Ukraine.
Ooh.
Emus are only effective in Australia. We all know this.
Listen. Who said anything about Ukraine? I was thinking more of like solving the problem at the root of the problem. Why do we need to go over there and bother those people?
So Australia's the problem? Is what you're saying? Australia's the problem?
Isn't the problem?
Are you saying Australia is the root of all problems?
Is it the
is that
problem?
What you're saying?
Is it the problem more? Is it the problem more local to us?
What?
Wait, okay.
Ukraine is closer to the U.S. than Australia.
What are emus? Do I have to search it?
Wait a minute.
Great Emu War.
You've never heard of the Great Emu War?
Yeah, look up the Emu War whenever you.
Yeah,
they're like ostriches but fuzzier.
That's what I'm thinking.
And meaner. How? Wait a minute, Jimmy. Let me. I'm trying to.
You didn't let me even finish because I didn't even get to the good part yet. I just want everybody to get an emu.
I just wanted to visualize it. Oh yeah, it's like an ostrich.
Part 2 comes with.
We need to input this into the AI.
Part 2 comes with.
Here, the screen.
The monkeys.
I just did wizard sleeve tattoos.
Where's my can of beans?
Yeah, where's my ass of destruction weapons?
Let me take out the wizard because I think it took too much power into the construct.
This wizard is so common.
Got the pants on fire, right? So I'm glad.
Let me leave tattoo with, but I'm gonna leave them less variants. I created too many, so I'm just gonna create 7. But continue, sir.
After this, I do have an idea for this. After this,
so the emus, and you get your emu familiar with you, and your emu becomes your protector of your property. Now, to top this off, so that these emus have some sense of direction for when we're ready to use them, we also on the side need to be training monkeys, at least one each.
But what apes are monkeys?
Monkeys, because I like the little guys with the little tails.
All right. I mean, they're more trainable, I guess.
Yeah.
Apes are not. Apes
you
can just
talking
rip your
about-
arms off.
Are you talking about macaques?
Oh.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Macaques riding emus.
Oh, spider monkeys are also great because they literally
Spider monkeys, that's
they
fine
have hands
too.
like us too. You know, spider monkeys pretty much almost opposable.
And then we know, after we get them good.
I don't think macaque likes to ride monkeys.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I
The
don't-
monkeys riding the macaws, you mean?
Could we?
The macaws are big.
I just think that if we had an army of monkeys riding emus, we would be unstoppable.
You know, Russia, they train dolphins to shoot missiles at submarines.
This sounds like a Cold War weapon.
Yeah. They still have them to this day. They
Wait.
have
Dolphins for missiles?
dolphins.
I do think this is a real.
Macaw monkeys
I do think this is a real
riding
thing.
emus.
If anything, I think Neptune would know exactly what to look for.
Militarized dolphins.
I knew you would be, man. I knew you would be.
Yeah, since 1967.
Yeah. They
Even-
still train them to this day.
Even
They
our
use the-
even our military does it too, apparently.
So we did it with dolphins. We
What
did it with
the fuck?
whales. We did it. So MK Ultra is a great example of both the U.S. and the Russians were
Mm.
heavily focused on psychological play, and what people
Yeah.
don't get is we learned a lot. The
Yeah.
Russians learned a lot, and we learned a lot. Our propaganda, designed from the science that came from MK Ultra and company applicational processes, is how they're controlling, and how even China has their own version too, but theirs started much later. And their experimentation process is way crazier than ours. Who
Psychological
knows?
warfare is just as important as boots on the ground infantrymen.
Exactly. We are currently at war. Fifth
Psychological
generational
warfare.
warfare.
Psychological warfare demoralizes whoever you're targeting before you go in and do the physical part. I mean,
And
that's
are,
the whole
are
point.
Americans not demoralized?
Actually, while you bring that up, TikTok, they use the different algorithms in different countries to promote
Yes.
and push certain content. Like America
Yes.
is like comedy stuff, but over in
Like,
China,
China's
Yeah,
TikTok is totally different than ours, man. What
Ladies
they
and
see
gentlemen,
yeah.
look at the monkey emu situation. The macaw monkey did not come out right.
Phew, that's some prehistoric looking stuff right there.
But I'll give it. It's a cool image. But okay, what's macaw? It's MAKA.
No, MACCAU, I think.
Can we add ninja swords to the
And since Jimmy was talking about using this for Ukraine, how about we do Ukrainian emus?
Of course. Of course.
I never once said anything about using this for Ukraine.
oh, the
So I'm saying it.
American.
I'm using it to solve the problem in Ukraine.
Ukraine emus are called crisis actors.
So I found the story Voila-Me was referring to.
That's
and
a
they
good
are-
one, dude.
And
That's
they
a good
are
one.
still in use. And the real story is even funnier, Jimmy. I put it in the chat.
Wait,
So
they found areas they were actually acting in a consideration. There's real war zone areas. This is so weird.
Oh, there's absolutely 100% crisis actors in
No,
Ukraine.
no, okay. So Syria, great example. Syria. You guys ever heard of the White Helmet documentary?
No.
Okay,
Hmm.
so Netflix had this award-winning documentary about these people, the White Helmets, that go into these war-torn areas and saves people. Now, none of that shit was real,
Mm-mm.
and people that were there were like, "Why are these people like what?
Sean Penn,
what's going on?"
right?
Like,
Oh,
what-
yeah.
Sean Penn a white
Penn
helmet?
Is that what do you think?
Sean Penn is a bitch.
Sean
Fact.
Penn is literally an employee of the State Department and,
Mhm.
and the intelligence community.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's an employee.
He was in a video with Ben Stiller over there. They were having a conversation or playing basketball or something like that.
So Ukraine, a lot of interesting stuff is happening there. and I hope the war ends at the end of this year. That's my
It
hope.
won't.
But there's a lot of the same thing that was happening in Iraq of like, holy shit, this is gonna be a bumping country with a lot of money. So there's a lot of that.
It's Chechnya 2.0.
Pretty much.
Chechnya did not develop.
Neptune, I wanted you to speak on this
Chechnya
since you
did
brought
too
it up,
develop
buddy.
after the 2 wars. Chechnya is very developed right now. If you go look at
Really?
the pics. Oh yes.
Man.
I thought because they keep sending their people to war, they're like, how do you evolve? But I guess
No.
they still love the war.
Kadyrov is like a god in Chechnya right now. Go look at the pics of what Chechnya looks like right now.
You mean the current? Let me see.
I will as soon as Neptune gets the opportunity to talk about the thing he wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
I found the story that Voila-Me was referring to, and the real story is even funnier. So, during the Cold War, both the U.S. and the Soviets started training dolphins for hyper echolocation to ID anti-submarine weapons like mines and depth charges.
Yeah, how they said they were using them just now too.
Yeah, they are.
They're
Yeah,
like
they still
using
are.
them right now. They were using them
Yeah.
in the current conflict in Ukraine.
Yes, they are.
I mean, if
What
it
a time to
works,
be alive.
why replace it?
Yeah, I mean,
They're basically underwater operatives.
we were in a position during World War II. We seriously considered loading bats into bombs.
That
and
was the
having them
Japanese.
Yes,
Wait, yeah, it
we
was the
were
Japanese.
we were seriously in a position to consider putting bats into bombs to put them and make them roost under Japanese structures to literally incinerate towns
Oh my
and burn
God.
them to the ground.
He's telling the truth.
So
Wait,
Wow.
that was the Japanese to us.
no, that was the
No.
U.S.'s plan that was scrapped when the
That
A-bomb
was us.
was greenlit. The bat
Oh
bombs
my
was-
God.
The bat bomb
I
experiment.
The
swear
bat
to-
bombs.
Why did I think it was the Japanese? I don't know.
Well,
so
if you
stupid.
know anything about Unit 731, you would think that would be the Japanese.
That does sound like something
Yeah.
the Japanese would have done. No
Yeah.
doubt.
No, wait.
No,
There's the balloons.
no.
The balloons. Look
We're-
up Japanese balloon bombs.
I do remember that.
We're a country that
Balloons.
invested like what are the effects of cocaine on a turtle? And here's $8 million. You know what I'm saying? Like
Here's $10 million.
Yeah.
Here's
Figure
a
this
bunch
out.
of money. Get some results. We don't care. Here's $10 million in a blender.
Wait. Okay.
Hey,
Have
just
you watched congressmen speak about this subject? Like
Rand Paul.
somebody-
Rand Paul.
Was it
audits-
Rand Paul? He was
Rand
just pulling
Paul-
out ridiculous
Rand
studies.
Paul shows like the ridiculous money.
Oh, can we find that clip?
Can we find just like a list?
It's
Rand-
he shows studies about the weirdest shit
Yeah,
and just says, "Why the hell are we spending
it's either
$5 million on this?" Like,
it's
what-
either Massey. It's either Massey.
how
or,
the government spent 181,406 to study how cocaine enhances sex drive of Japanese quail.
Oh my
We're out
god.
here making Jumanji armies and playing with
and
animals.
they want to audit my Venmo transactions of more than $600.
That'll make no sense. Zero. Oh, the CBDC, that executive order 14067 went into play yesterday.
I know, dude. This was coming since the Trump administration.
Okay, so they can try with that central bank digital currency, but as far as it's going to get, in my opinion, it's like it'll be
You think it'll piss people off?
used. It'll be used, but it's not going to be a total takeover of like of cash and other digital transactions. Digital currency will be used for certain things. It's not going to be a total all-inclusive thing.
Slow drip.
No, I 100%.
Not even a slow drip.
No. So I'll give you an example of how it starts. Zelle. So all of the ACH, all Zelle or all interbanking is going to be done through this new currency. So this is how it starts. This is exactly literally, you can look up Fed Now, and that's literally says this is how it's going to start and all that. So in China, now when you get your pay, you have to spend it. Money's
Oh, they got an
expiring in
expiration
China.
date on it, right?
So there's
It'll
an
never fly
expiration.
here with that shit.
That's MMT now.
That'll never fly here.
That's
I mean,
modern monetary theory being applied in China.
you know, they can try that here, but it
There
ain't
it
gonna
is.
fucking fly. Oh yeah,
It's
I
in the
totally
government's
get.
website. We're not talking any conspiracy.
No.
theories.
I'm not saying it's a conspiracy.
No. To some idiots that are listening and they're like, "Huh? What?" Like
It's
go back
it's
to-
gonna happen, but it'll be as far as it gets. It'll be bank to bank, or other large financial institutions to
When
large
you
financial
go-
institutions.
and this is how they do it. It's very simple. Credit cards like Amex, MasterCard, all these things, they all charge you fees.
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve won't charge you a fee.
Yeah. And some of these manufacturers, they're gonna start, oh, I'm sorry, we don't accept cash here anymore. Some of these places, Starbucks, I think, started in a certain
No,
state.
so you can't do that in New York, and you can't do that in many cities because it is, and I agree with it. I mean, I'm not gonna be on that side. It is, there's a population that uses dollars and they are not well off.
No.
And that type of discrimination, you're fine, Jimmy. But
I
yes,
like
if you
having
want to
tips.
donate to Jimmy, please.
Cash will always stay around.
He'll accept cash. He'll accept. I'll make him accept Bitcoin. Yeah,
Right.
he'll take everything. He's very welcome.
So
You're
I-
right.
Picks
what
are
I-
also
what I-
accepted. I'll send them to the person that actually wants them, but I'll, I like recruiting
What-
for my buddy and such.
what I think where it has failed is that all of these Bitcoin companies that have gone belly up,
Mm-hmm.
and if you've noticed that people have started waking up after all of these power outages,
Jim. this is-
and they want to start with the digital currencies. I mean, all the Bitcoins are going bankrupt and falling through, and the power outages. How are you going to access your digital currency when there's no power?
Exactly.
I mean,
Some people ain't ready for that. Like
No.
you said earlier, a lot
I
of people
have-
don't have survival.
I have a larger theory that is at play here, more so than the digital currency. That we don't have enough time to
Mhm.
discuss it right now because it is a very in-depth discussion. But I see what's coming. I do, and
What's
those
your
of us
main-
outside.
What's your main view on time? It has to take like 15 to 30 years
Oh,
for
it's never-
absolute and total. Like when I'm talking about
It
when
will
cash
never
disappears.
be.
I'm saying
will-
it's going to
that
be
will
20,
never
30
happen.
years before cash really disappears.
That'll never
That's what I'm
happen.
talking about.
That'll never happen.
Some variation.
We are going to have this. All goes
We're
back
going to have
to
traceless money too. There's digital traceless money. Like
There's going to
have,
be-
like, a lot of people have digital traceless money.
Well, fine. Let's just get right into it then, since we are going to see because an all-inclusive something like that, it is just the logistics behind it is just impossible. It is absolutely impossible. The logistics behind an all-encompassing digital currency, social credit score, everything like that is the logistics
The
is
US
absolutely
does
impossible.
not. So I'll say that when it comes to national intelligence, potentially the NSA has the framework, potentially. But nothing like the Chinese though. The
No.
Chinese surveillance
Mm-mm.
state is lightning years ahead of the entire planet in the worst,
But-
scariest, imaginable ways.
Mhm.
Wait,
It
you said potentially, but I want to be like, didn't that one guy get exiled to Russia for proving that it isn't potentially, and they
Mhm.
do have the framework to have everything you just said?
No. So let me rephrase what I mean. So
Snow. We talking about Snowden
No.
or Julian Assange?
both. No.
Both.
So what I
Yeah,
mean
both.
is, okay, so that model, okay, cool. It's a bitch to understand. There's a lot of things you have to do. If
Mhm.
they have automated all of that,
Mhm.
then everybody's fucked. Because once they automate that, once real AI, like the scary one that probably already they have access to, now that I think about it, because if there's things like Aladdin, there's things that are running whole companies. We also have heard of other companies that are completely ran on computers, but in the way like management, employees,
Yeah.
like payroll. Amazon, a big portion of Amazon is running on a computer. That's why they're firing.
This is what I'm talking about. There's still
They're not getting them back.
There's still a large portion of this country that are not connected electronically to society.
That's why even the Canadians said it'll be 50 years before we ever take away cash.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the Canadians.
Because the Canadians are crazier and they already have shut people's bank accounts down. The US has actually not done that unless you're like a severely looked at state actor that could potentially murder people at a large scale because you have the technology and you're inside of the country. There's almost nobody like that on inside of the US. And if they are, yeah, that's scary if they exist.
So
but
have you seen there's a few maps floating around online that show like because we are headed for a divide in the United States, whether people want to like accept that or not. The United States is going to split. It's going to split,
but it's not going to.
There's going to be.
There's, I think, amicable.
No,
like, I think it's going to be a.
No.
You don't think it's going to be a nice divorce?
They're going to merge. They're going to merge with Canada.
Oh, that is. You ever seen what if this channel on YouTube? Very great channel.
I saw a couple of maps floating around on
infographic show.
No. So what if he is a historian that just goes into looking forward, and geopolitically speaking, and his predictions are pretty crazy. And he mentioned the Alberta thing. I have spoken to like a lot of Canadians, and they're all like, "Yeah, I believe that."
Yeah.
I'm from that area. Yeah, they're more basically like Ohio than they are like their neighbor. They're just different. They're just more like the Americans. So that's why they would secede, and they have the money.
I think
Canadians can split easier. There's physical distance.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of empty space in Canada.
There's a lot of empty space in the United States.
Oh, of course, but Canada's empty in comparison. Canada's 30
we have said this. We have said this numerous times on this show about what it's going to be. They are going to come in and take like a firm grasp on your major metropolitan areas. That they're going to push for. Green energy, electric vehicles, digital currency, carbon taxes, social credit score, digital currency.
There's nothing scarier than the social credit score.
Yeah, and that's because these areas are already disarmed.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's going to be Illinois, New York.
Actually, you made the key point. They're pretty much disarmed. I mean,
they're disarmed. No, they really are.
The gangs are well armed in New York.
I'm getting to that part.
They are well armed. They can take over the city.
New York, Illinois, Washington, Oregon, California. They're probably going to merge with Canada because the population's disarmed, minus the gangs. Look what's coming in Chicago. Look what's coming to the state of Illinois the beginning of January.
Safety Act.
Did you guys wait? It gets worse. You've seen this Star Trek episode, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You guys have heard of it?
The state of Illinois is banning all semi-automatic weapons.
They predicted in 2025 there will be massive riots in Chicago. That's scary.
Yeah, I can believe that.
It's going to be next year when that Safety Act comes out.
No, but
it's going to the purge. That's going to be the purge, man.
It is fascinating the Star Trek show like got the year probably and the location and the year. If it gets both right, that's gonna be crazy. Everybody's gonna be, what the fuck? Everybody watch Deep Space Nine. What the hell is in that show?
And see the thing is we've all said that they're going to merge those major metro areas in those states and leave the rest of the United States to fend for themselves. You know?
Yeah.
It's got to be peaceful, because if you look
because the military anyway is not going to split that much. There's going to be splits in the military, but not that high.
Yeah.
So the military is going to be like, yeah, we're not going to fight each other, guys. Like we're not going to get that kinetic.
Because they realize, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, all these simps can like say, "Oh, you're never going to beat the United States military." Do you understand like
we
war
are
of
the
attrition?
military?
Yeah.
Like,
do you understand that they would lose all of the law enforcement combined with all boots on the ground would lose a war of attrition with the population of the United States? And I think they've come to realize that, because, I mean, we're just not going to give it up, you know?
It's going to be some kind of civil disobedience coming. Like you said,
I don't think it's coming to that. I think it's going to be
where
peaceful.
I am and Will. You think here, where I am and Will, where you are not.
The cities are still going to see the civil unrest, and they're
I'm gonna have a party
that's where they're
next door.
going to come in. That's where they're going to come in with law enforcement and the military, and totally just take over those major areas and just be done with it.
And there again, to that point, I mean, yeah, between the fact that other than the gangs, most of those people are disarmed anyways. So it's a toothless fight. You also have, in the middle of all that, you have your average run-of-the-mill status party line voter who's probably just going to fall in line with it anyway. So, you know, taking the state control, that's up to them. And you know what?
Well,
I have nothing else for them. So I got nothing else to say to that. So
I mean, the prediction is from others as well, as the right to a certain capacity would just overtake the left and like nothing, because they're the ones that decided to arm themselves. So if you like, this is the bare bones higher point of view. Like if anything were like that to happen, and it's not going to get that kinetic. Like we already have kinetic issues. But it's not. I don't think it's gonna get that hot. I think it's gonna be like a light toast, but not like a full blackened toast. No.
Yeah, but if it blew up in that way, it would happen in one of the major metros, which is
and it would happen
Jimmy
quickly.
has affectionately called our future mega cities. A la Judge Dredd.
Well, speaking of Dredd, Carl Urban is returning as Dredd in the second Dredd movie. That's going to be, that's up. Speaking of movies coming out, have you seen that movie, The Number 65, with, oh my God, what's this? Adam Driver?
No.
You
mentioned something about
So
what is it about?
It's about the future meets prehistoric. It's about the future. It's all about a what if happened millions of years ago. And it's this future. They're out exploring and the ship gets hit and only 2 survivors, and they crash land on a planet that is just inhabited by dinosaurs. And so they're trying to get home.
Of the apes and dinosaurs. Fun.
But it's supposed to be Earth.
Yeah. I mean, this was another Terra Nova. Terra Nova. It's literally the script of Terra Nova, only not a time machine.
Terra Nova was pretty good.
Terra Nova.
But it's got
literally Terra Nova. It's like a clone
but it's
of
got
it.
Adam Driver in it. So I'm expecting good things, you know?
It's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff happening next year. I'm looking forward to this.
Right.
So American Horror Story, that show, how it's very culturally relevant still to an extent, what they show.
Man,
you guys seen that show?
Yeah,
it's a very interesting show.
I still have yet. I'm still like 1 or 2 episodes away from finishing 1899.
Oh, that show is weird. It got
terrible. It was an
it went from good to bad.
It was an 8-episode show that the 8 episodes went like the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. Like the first 4 were like freaking awesome.
And then
5 and 6 was 7 and 8. I should have just necked myself, man.
Does the story just fall apart?
Yeah, just totally falls apart, man.
I don't know. They thought they were being cool.
A single episode of Game of
Thrones.
Okay,
so it's
dude,
it's multilingual, so it's super douchey. I will tell you, I like the multilingual element because
they did a pretty good job of dubbing.
You have to show different cultures, so it's a great way to show different cultures. So I love it, but it also is funny that it also feels like it's douchey based off how they did it, because they did do it like they did it for all, like to show it like also all the rich and like it's like the different dynamics. And it's
totally like Titanic.
Latinos not as the bad people not terribly as the bad people for once. At least we weren't the bad guys.
Except for once.
Because they almost made the priest the bad guy. I feel they were going to make the priest the bad guy. Weren't they?
I thought they were going to make the priest the bad guy.
Right? I thought like they always make the random Latino guy. I'm like, come on. Let's not be the bad guys. Because even people studied it, there's a lot of Latinos that are just bad guys. Like it's really, it's a really bad like scale.
They're all essays. I mean, that's how they portray them.
I met one that did the Ozarks. So he did the villain. Well, one of the cartel guys, the son of a cartel boss in the show that takes over. I met him, and
talking about
they're
Ozarks?
frustrated. They're frustrated with that shot. Like they don't like. He left his role, but I'm like, it sucks that that's all we can get. We're the bad guys. So.
Voila-Me.
Yes, sir.
We've had an interesting thing coming up here recently that a fellow podcaster had brought up, and we've been kind of continuously talking about it with each of my recent guests because it's an interesting thing, and kind of speaking on the same subject that they are about how they are eliminating redheaded characters throughout all like comics and cartoons and stuff like that, and replacing them with different races of color, like whether it be Asian, African, Latino, like it varies, of course, but they have slowly replaced. Like I've got a continuing article that they continue to update, and it has been across DC Comics, Marvel Comics, Dark Horse Comics. It's going.
You have the site loaded.
It's going over into Disney and stuff like that, and it's been an interesting discussion that I've been having, because like why do you think they're going after redheads is like one of those things that I've been, I guess, continuing to ask with this, because every one of us here, I bet even yourself, could probably find somebody in your family that has that gene if you went through the thing enough. I
mean, my mom's a redhead. You also have some redhead. The last person was a redhead, but my mom's side. But that's the thing. It's like it's a small portion of the population that was once like treated like shit. So
yeah, they're trying to make everything equal, and certain male characters they're turning female now. Like
this sounds like hate crime towards Irish
for a while now. That's been, super.
I mean, I don't disagree about the hate crime thing to the Irish thing.
I mean, it started with super. I mean, it happens all the time.
All right, so it goes through a whole list of them, of course. Like I'll make sure I'll send you this article, but because there really is, there's a shit ton, and they even did it in video format. You can watch it just to get through it kind of quicker. It's a 2-part video so far.
They made characters that weren't redheads. I'm like, what the?
They've just been slowly changing like each character when they're bringing them either to live action or even inside of like the comics and stuff. They're starting to change them now, and just make them not the actual character that they were. And like he was just up there mentioning and such. I find it interesting because redheaded people, just for being redheaded, have been very marginalized themselves a lot throughout history in different parts and stuff like that. And to go after what I consider an actual minority amongst other people out here, like
Mhm.
in eliminating their heroes to replace them with other ones. Like I've just been personally, I'm just like, man, I'm all for doing it your way when you're like cosplaying and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that. But like I I don't think it's right to take away somebody else's hero to create, another hero for someone else. Like why can't you
I
just create
mean,
a new hero in general?
let me say what,
Exactly.
like, there's so many stories from just Africa alone. Like I've been hearing a few different like mythologies and stories and like fascinating tales. There's so much content that a culture can have as their own. Like now, if you look up like the amount of Mexican culture that exists now in relationship to ancient Mexican culture, I love it. It's fascinating as hell.
It
Everything
is.
we're learning about Mexico. I even just learned Thomas Edison was Mexican. That's funny. And he
Hmm.
was perfectly fluent in Spanish. And they were saying that he was deaf and he wasn't really like hard of hearing. He just never fixed his accent because he was first naturally fluent in Spanish. So he sounded broken up and they thought it was his ear. It's like he was just not perfect because he wasn't from Ohio.
Yeah, they've been altering our history for a long time. We got a lot of secret heroes and crazy stories from Mexico.
Yeah. And we lost so much of it. They were building a highway and
Mhm.
they discovered more. So that probably screwed up everything for the government.
Honestly, they,
Like
they,
it's for transportation, it
Well,
sucks for people. It's
well,
like,
that actually gets into something that I've always found kind of interesting. Is there's okay, people always talk about censorship and or book burnings and stuff like that, but I have a knack for finding books that are outrageously priced. And
you found another.
I've found quite a few like throughout the years. It's just one of those things, and I'm talking they range from, even though this might be low to some people, but they range from maybe a couple $100 to $5,000-6,000 for a book, and there's always some kind of cut and dry answer as to why it costs that much. But me, I guess I have this perspective of what's the best way to hide some truth or some real history or something like that, aside from chastise the person that may have wrote it, of course, and then make it pretty much impossible to get, like out of the hands of somebody that has to use that cash like we were saying earlier to keep from losing everything on a regular basis. It's kind of a regular point of our life. So there's one book in particular I, I was on a venture trying to find it for a really long time, and I'd actually gotten to a point where I thought that it didn't exist, and it was just a bunch of hoopla. And then thanks to some awesome PDF stuff that my buddy Vince over at the Red Pill Project showed me, I was actually able to finally find the book. And it's another one of those things that I've been reading that American scholars and stuff will write it off as pseudoscience and stuff like that.
What is
And
it called? Can you show it to us? I'd like to see it. Like
the
what's available? Because it
uh,
sounds interesting. So what's the interesting elements that
huh.
are make it
so
very distinct in an information capacity?
there's a couple in general and that I've dealt with throughout the years, but the most recent one was, and this is totally uh I've made a couple TikTok videos about it in the past because it's kind of controversial as far as this book specifically. And I want to get the name of it right, so I do want to type it in and make sure I get it right before I try to interrupt on there. But it tells a little bit different story of history, and um, it tells like a different story of history as far as like what we're told today. And people are like, we're always talking about like what was hidden or why are things different and stuff like that. And it it was it's always been one of those things that was interesting to me. Okay, it was called A New Look at the it is the Forgotten Cause of the Civil War, a new look at the issue on slavery.
Wait,
And
isn't that the one that's like $1,000?
it's up to $5,000 now.
wow.
Dude, wait, didn't you have a copy of it?
I got a PDF copy of it because I didn't have a complete copy of the book.
Because I
And
was even trying to find the PDF, and yeah,
I did
not that easy.
I did successfully find it. It took me a long time to dig it. As soon as I found it, I totally sent it to Bandit. I don't know if he ever downloaded it or not, but
Oh yeah, I'd like to see it.
it
But what's
I
the
took the
main?
time
What's the main
to
thing
go
that you
through it. And
found? Or
so the thing that I've found about this book is there is some depictions in this book as well. And I find it funny that we're bringing up this subject because in these depictions, it talks about redheaded slaves
Mm-hmm.
and it depicts a lot of redheaded slaves, and it depicts a lot of mixed children and stuff that were also slaves and stuff because once you were born, and if you were born to a slave, or whatever, you were automatically become a slave regardless of the pigment of your skin.
Yeah.
And that this book is pointing out how this issue that actually on paper, according to the North, affected 6% of the population is the reason that they went to war. But when you really start digging in and finding that Abraham Lincoln was pretty tyrannical in his actions on the things he was doing, you start seeing different perspectives from a lot of these other people and a lot of these
Wait. Pretty tyrannical.
Oh no, I know. Yeah,
How
you're
about
not right.
just tyrannical, man?
I'm talking. He passed. He looked like Biden or Trump up there signing executive orders left and right on all kinds of things, and people think that, oh no, he freed the slaves, and I'm like, no, he didn't. He made everyone. He made every one of us slaves under the color of law. Like and this book really pinpoints some of the ideas and the background that sure, slavery was a thing, and just like other countries that were already getting rid of it, there probably would have been a more diplomatic way than killing 40,000 of our own men and women and children in this country to stop something that was only affecting 6% of the country. Everybody would have been pressured to do their thing anyway. And in fact, here's another controversial thing found in this book. Sherman released any slaves he had, or not Sherman, General Lee released any slaves that he had, which there's only documented 6 in his technical possession, be months before the war ever even broke out.
Yep.
And there's a lot more things when you're starting to dig into this book and into the details of this, that the same people that are in charge now were totally some of the same people that were in charge then, pulling the strings, and they have discolored the idea of that war and turned it into a thing to say maybe make me and you argue Voila-Me because something stupid that doesn't even really matter in our current time period. But like, when the truth is that it was a big overreaching hand of the federal government, and very many of our forefathers in that time, which would be great grandparents, were fighting side by side to make sure that the North didn't do what the North ended up doing. But then the whole scorched earth thing started happening, which I think goes along in with like some of the hidden history too, because they did burn everything from Atlanta to the beach. So
that's a valid question that I've never really asked. What was the scale of the damage of the Civil War? I have never actually heard it.
Like in like modern money?
Not only that, it's like how many cities were destroyed? Like how much old America did we lose? I'm just curious because I know some.
Now you're opening now you're opening up a whole different discussion.
But I like to see like architecture. I'm talking about things like architecture.
Well, I mean, they
like interesting buildings that were built 600
in terms of
like
financial expenditures, it would have took $3.2 billion to fight the war and $6.5 billion to rebuild after the war.
Yep. And a majority of
their time's money.
One of the reasons why they were they did the Civil War that people don't know about was the plantations. The plantations were like mini cities to some of these states.
Talks about this too.
Yeah. And they were so adamant on controlling the plantation because it was like a money wheel for a bunch of different besides cotton, they had like all gin and all this
peaches.
your peaches and all these other resources that they were trying to get. And they were like, well, let's make something up. Well, we got to do this civil war. It's racism and all this. But half of it was just money. They were trying to go and get those plantations down there in the South.
Dude, it's the bankers war. Everything is a bankers war. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
It was
You know that almost every single war until right now, the majority of them are banker wars.
it was a forced going from an agricultural society to an industrial society. Much of the South and much of the Midwest and such that were involved were very much agricultural places, and they did export a lot of things. And I'm not going to say that terrible things didn't happen, because sure they did. You know, there terrible things have happened to all races of human throughout history, regardless of where you look. Like, I don't think any one group has honestly been more than another, because if you dig hard enough, you find where every group has been marginalized by another group at some point in time. And then you, but like when you really start digging into it, let's be real, y'all. A lot of us today are in kind of worse shape than many of them may have been even back then, because sure, were things tough? Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not trying to say they weren't.
We have some modern amenities,
but they were given a place to sleep, and they were given lobster and chicken because it was considered trash food to the rich and stuff like that on a regular basis. You know, they may not have had a lot, but they were fed and sheltered. And there's a lot of people today that are not fed and sheltered in the most advanced country in this world. And that in itself is fucking shameful, especially when most of them gave their life to serve this country for whatever purpose it was. And now they're stuck on the side of the road begging for money because nobody wants to help them.
So look up Utah. Look up Utah's homeless program. It was working.
And then it probably got shut down.
And it got shut down.
Yeah, they don't want to see people thrive. Like, if you gave homeless people a job...
No. Wait. It gets worse. It's cheaper.
What?
Oh, yes. Get this. It cost the government $60,000 to $200,000.
What? That's like pennies to them.
No, but this is the thing. It's cheaper to just buy you a fucking house.
It is.
I am not joking. It is cheaper for the government to just buy you a house. I am dead serious. Like, that's how fucked our system is. That the smart people, they're like, but why the fuck aren't you doing this? You have all that land. You can just manage resources. Like, we can manage our resources, right? This country would be thriving.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why they started planting those male trees a lot of places, because those female fruit trees were everywhere. You could go out and grab some fruit, and then they were like, "Nah, we can't have that." So
I'll give you a counter argument, because I've spoken to some people on this that like work in like the gardens. You can't have that food next to the streets because of the cars. The heavy metals, and I'll be frank, I would love the air to be clean enough, but it was simply explained. You put trees like that next to the exhaust of vehicles. That is not shit you should eat. So
fair.
So you need spaces like there's one in Georgia where it's a big place. So it makes sense.
Wait,
because it's a big place.
Are you talking about? Wait.
Yeah,
what are you talking
that
about?
project, the one in Georgia. They have like a big area where they're supposed to. How big is it? It's supposed to be pretty big, isn't it?
Are you talking about the community garden?
No, the big one. The one that was
the botanical garden.
The one that was super big that they also had an access for food area.
Okay,
they were growing food, so people could literally come by.
That's the botanical garden, and I got to tell you, like, it's the botanical garden one and the big huge.
Are they good? I don't know.
And the big huge farmers market one. So the botanical garden one is in between a bunch of skyscrapers.
Oh.
And then the other one is down below the skyscrapers, and I hate to be like this, but it's.
Are they trying to build?
It's really true.
2.0?
It's really true, but the area that it's in like
It's polluted.
is not the safest of areas. It probably has the highest crime of the fucking state.
Oh, dang.
Really interesting.
And like it's beside some dead end apartments that have one of those one way in, one way out, and everybody talks about. Listen, a lot of the rappers that come from Atlanta, I promise you, that's the neighborhood they're talking about, because a lot of them totally come from there. Like it's on the south side of Atlanta, and it out there delivering appliances before. I've had cops come by and be like, "Are you carrying?" And I'm like, "Oh, no." And they're just like, "Well, you better be out here." And I'm just like, "What the fuck?" Like,
And is that something you want the cops to be like, pass by? It's like, sir, are you packing?
I mean, sure, that's something
Okay,
I'd rather
bye.
them asking me, but it's just like when it just throws you off when you're just out there trying to throw off. And I can attest to it. Like I can remember delivering appliances. The maintenance man, when I first went there the first time, he was like, "Hey, we're gonna put these in the storage room." I was like, "Sure." The next day we were back out there because no longer than we left, somebody stole them all.
Damn.
So the following trip, we put them directly into the apartment, and somebody stole them all that night. So the following trip, we put them all into the apartment and went ahead and installed them, so it would be harder for them to rip them out of the walls and stuff. And it actually made it through, and that became another one of those places that I had to show up and install, which was not my favorite because these are apartments probably built in the 60s, if not earlier than that.
What's the condition?
Woohoo.
I'm curious.
The condition?
Yeah.
Every other apartment was boarded up. I promise that. Like these people are living in rough measures, and I hate seeing
this,
it. Like I really do.
Is
like,
this government housing, or is this like just people that have
it probably accepts the Section 8 kind of stuff, but but it also takes public people too, like that. Like, well, there's a lot of that in Georgia. That there's neighborhoods that they'll do. Not only do they do Section 8, but they're like, "Hey, we know you don't make a lot of money. It'll only cost you this much a week to rent this apartment." And
I mean, free,
there's a lot of
low-priced housing should be a national. Guess what? It's coming. Okay, this is my theory.
It's crashing like nuts right now.
Okay, this is my theory, and I think you will like it. It's gonna crash like 30%, 30-40% in a few months.
Dude.
It's gonna be so massive that places here that cost 1.4 million will cost 850,000. I think it's gonna be that drastic.
I was talking the other day. It's
gonna be mainly because they're converting all of the commercial spaces into housing.
I was talking the other day. I was showing Bandit some pictures actually because of some stuff around here in Georgia, at how there was some houses that less than 6 months ago were over $300,000 and now they're plummeting and almost below $200,000.
This is how the government houses everybody.
Yep.
This is the weirdest thing. Okay, I'll tell you this. It's the
used car market. The used car market's doing the same thing.
The used car market is a money laundering operation. Mm-hmm. If you guys didn't know,
and it's tanking.
Cars are used
hard.
to launder money.
Facts. We got thousands of car lots and everybody making money. Come on, now.
Dude, it's such a crazy market and nobody looks at it. I'm like, if you want to see where all the dark money is, the used car market is a big one.
Actually,
there's others, of course, but that's a big one.
Mattress stores.
Oh God, what the hell's that?
Yes.
How often do you buy a mattress?
Jimmy, could you show a map of how close they are?
No. Now my theory now, and actually when we had Outsider on here, this was something I think I remember bringing up with him too, that I've brought up in the past with people. Not even the money laundering. I think all these mattress things have something to do with human trafficking.
Oh, facts. I know he's right.
100x worse.
What's the easiest way?
That's
to
furniture.
Out of body furniture.
That's furniture. A mattress store.
But think about it. There's mattress stores so close to each other. Everywhere. Everywhere.
Nah, they're money laundering, because how often do you buy a mattress and they're staying open, making money? Now, furniture stores, you can definitely traffic people with a furniture store because of the big boxes. Mattresses. You buy a new mattress, what? You're supposed to buy one every
12 years.
every 2 or 3 years.
Okay, the only reason I bring this up is because this is going to be the fourth map that that already looking at it already lines up with not only my missing persons, my cave systems, and my Bigfoots, but now it also matches up with my mattresses.
So Bigfoot is using mattresses to traffic people through the caves.
Oh my god. What the heck did I just walk into?
No, you're right. If you notice, no, he right. Whenever you see a mattress firm, that'll be like 4 in the same area,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, why do you have 4 in the same area? And the mattresses will be like 3,000, 5,000 a piece. Like it don't make sense how they still open. None. And just like he said, though, it's a great way to hide a body. If it's big enough to hide bodies in, if you have the right material. You just, you know what I'm saying? Take the springs out of some of those Tempur-Pedic mattresses.
Because who has the money to buy a mattress every 8 years? Don't get me wrong. I'm a mattress person. Like I kind of make sure that I have a proper mattress for myself because I have back issues moving appliances.
Whoa. 8 years, dude. You want to replace your mattress before 8 years?
Nope. According to standards, it says 8 years.
Yeah.
By 8 years.
But that's not when I do mine.
Mattress?
Like when my mattress can no longer be flipped and it doesn't make a difference, that means it's time for a new mattress.
And rotated. But at 8 years, your mattress has already doubled in weight due to dead skin.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Do you know how? Do you know there's?
You didn't know that? Whoa! Never ever.
Here's something that's ever.
Don't ever cut open your mattress after a few years.
Here's something that's always.
Don't ever.
Here's something that's always freaked me. That's always freaked me out though, is especially in the South, and I don't know why I see this all the time, but. Why is there such a big market for used mattresses? Go to the fucking Facebook marketplace, yard sales in the South and shit like that. People are always, and I've always thought that was disgusting. No, if I gotta buy one, I gotta buy a brand new one. Like
facts.
And now, you know, you made the mention of the prices, and you're right. You go into a mattress firm and you're spending out the ass on a mattress, and then you go and you find like just a little actual literal homemade or a hometown store for mattresses, and the prices are dramatically different. I went from looking at like it was going to cost me $1,000 to paying like $250, and the dude delivered it to my fucking house and was in the same town and everything, and for a brand new mattress and the plastic and everything. So like, what are they doing at mattress firm, bro? What are they doing at mattress firm?
And they've been around for what, 40 plus years? They've been in the game for a hot minute, man. They've been doing this.
Something's up, I think.
They probably old mafia members that passed down.
It's another one of those. It's another one of those, like Luis said, hiding in plain sight.
Facts. No, that's true. And just like you said, they have cavern systems. A lot of these places are built next to railroads too.
Yo. And the railroads, the biggest way they're totally trafficking people. Like that's no lie, I think, at all. I've seen those soundproof containers and stuff that they show where they found people and stuff inside of, and that's every time I go by a train, I'm always just staring hard at it. I'm like, I wonder if any of those are full of people. Like,
yep. Because like you said, they're soundproof, they're sturdy. You wouldn't even know. You'd be like, oh, that's just cargo.
And that's why people like, you know, those rich folks in Washington want to make sure that the trains keep moving because they need whatever they're doing going on with it. Because come on, folks, it's tied together. Let's be real.
Yeah.
All this wild missing people stuff that goes on a constant basis, and then people with weird, crazy islands that they do God knows what on, and crazy drugs that I'm not going to mention, but I know are totally actually real, so it doesn't surprise me if they're actually doing that to people. On top of all the people that are like sex worked and put on Pornhub and things like that, because people do terrible things like this. Like, who do you think is behind it? The rich and powerful.
100%. When you got enough money to hide your crimes, you can do what you want. They literally telling you, if you got enough money, you could buy your way out of crime.
Yes. Yeah, most crime, and especially America, for example, is poor man's stuff. Because if you have enough money, you're right. You just pay what you pay and leave. And you know, now of course we got the whole purge about to go down in Chicago, but like That's a whole different animal on itself.
Man, I swear to God, I have to go to Chicago for work, and I swear to Christ on a bike. I might just start declaring my firearm.
You're gonna go to work like Rambo with the ammo vest.
Oh, you won't be able to carry that through Illinois.
Yeah, bro. They're gonna get you. They're gonna tell you that's illegal. But yet, you can shoot the cop and you'll be all right though, because you'll murder him, and I think you can get away with that. So
Yeah, your wanted level will be 1 star.
I think that gets you 3 stars on GTA automatically. Shooting at a cop on GTA gets you 3 stars automatically.
It gets you 1. I'm sorry, it gets you 2. Sorry, it gets you 2. Not 3.
I think actually killing
when you
the cop.
kill 2 cops, then you get 3. I think.
Yeah, I think yeah,
that's going to be like that's good. The stars are going to.
You get the
Isn't that going to be
when you were like blowing up a helicopter?
How many TikToks are you going to think are going to come out of Chicago on the first, like doing the Grand Theft Auto star thing?
The memes are going to be.
It's going to make New York look tame.
The memes are going to be glorious.
There's going to be so many wasted memes.
Starting the purge.
Oh, dude, the TikToks are going to be wild. The TikToks coming out of Chicago are already wild.
Man,
Facts.
let me tell you, they having shootouts in the street like it was a hobby. So what do you like to do? Just blast people. That's my favorite thing.
Did you guys remember when there was 106 people shot and it barely made the news?
Yeah.
That was just on a weekend.
Yeah, that was. I think wasn't that last weekend?
No, it wasn't last weekend.
No, it's happened twice in recent memory. Once in 2019 and once in 2021.
It just made the news now in Chicago, where there was an execution where this SUV pulled up and these dudes got out and just full auto just sprayed this group of guys.
Mm-hmm. They starting to really do the gang wars.
And they have Illinois has some of these. I think they're on par with California and New York with the strictest gun laws in the nation.
So far in Chicago this year, we are at 2,021 shooting victims.
How many dead?
And more than
There's a shot there.
It doesn't give me
there's a crime clock for Chicago. You can look that up. Just type in like crime clock of Chicago.
I'm pretty sure it's at 100 for today.
It will give you a breakdown. I'm not kidding you. It will give you a breakdown of the shooting victims and where they were shot. And I'm not kidding. They include nut shots.
Wow. You got to have real hate for somebody to shoot.
Hey, jackass. What the hell kind of name for that for a website? Yeah, it's got a shot clock on it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Pull this up, Jimmy.
The one that's Hey Jackass?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it.
Is this the one? I think this is the one I'm talking about.
Mostly peaceful weekend. Jesus Christ.
I think this is it. Let me see.
God dang.
Yep, that's it. This is the one I'm talking about. Shot and killed year to date, 638.
Yeah,
that's just shooting victims. Total homicides in Chicago this year, 703.
Man, that's a lot of beef.
Shot and wounded, 2,832.
This isn't the shot clock Jerry Mitchell had in mind.
Total shot, 3,470.
Well, that number just went up probably 2 since we started talking.
I mean, according to this, where there's been probably quite a few shots done and murdered in the past every 2 minutes and 24 seconds or 11 minutes and 51 seconds.
Man.
Like,
they out here got Olympic sports for shooting.
Something updated every morning. So I'll be interested to check on this tomorrow.
So there's 279 in the head that were wounded, 240 fatal, 9 shot in the arm that were fatal, 515 that were just wounded, 343 that were shot in the torso that were fatal, 748 wounded, 31 says shot unknown, that were fatal, 85 that were shot
This-
unknown, and then
this
lower
just
body.
shows.
Dude, this is nuts.
This
And
just
then here's
shows
all the places that it's going on. Like, this is insane.
gun laws
Do nothing.
do not work. This shows right now. This shows right here.
Here's the numbers in the past.
Can you show the on screen? Were you sharing it?
Yeah, I'm screen sharing.
It's on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm seeing it myself, but which one you're looking at? I mean, this website's really, really well constructed. Whoever did this,
Oh, it's totally.
Yeah, they did a beautiful job. I need to talk to them about working on my website.
Mastermind.
Oh, great. Man.
I need to talk to them about working on my website because, they've got statistics for race of who's been shot, for male or female ratio, carjackings.
So if you take the crime, just the gun crime,
shot in the junkometer,
if you take the homicides from, I think, the 5 or 6,
43 people have shot themselves.
Largest cities, which are primarily Democrat.
Shot in the ass.
Not that I give a shit about politics, but let's be real.
Yeah.
The 5 or 6 largest cities in the United States, and remove them from the United States, we get into the top 5 of the safest countries in the world.
Wow. Just because of 6 or 7 states,
cities.
down.
No, cities.
Cities. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
Man, cities. Oh, wow.
What is it? I mean, if you get if it's Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles,
Houston, Phoenix, and Philadelphia.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. You knew exactly what I was talking about. So yeah, I mean, you remove that. I mean, it's like we jump into one of the safest countries in the world.
You know what's funny? Each one of those places you mentioned has an abundance of 5G towers.
Interesting.
Each one of those places have
okay, so I'm going to put a but in this. Some of those cities have been violent for decades.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, look at Chicago. Come on now. Chicago and New York. And I mean, even LA.
That's like Corleone.
And they've been violent for decades. Yeah. And see, the thing is, it's like no matter the gun laws, they're going to continue to be violent regardless. The only thing, like, everybody screams at the top of their lungs, it's like you're only doing harm to citizens that are just trying to be left alone. I mean, that's what it's coming to.
No, that's facts. They set up all these laws thinking criminals, oh, well, they said I can't have this gun anymore. I'm not going
to better go turn it in, Yeah. I can't have that anymore.
Come on. Some of these dudes,
I mean, there were videos coming out of Chicago of high school kids with backpacks full of Glocks with the magic switches, just showing them off. Backpacks full of them with the extended magazines and the fun switches.
Yep. A lot of them get the guns from Baltimore too. Baltimore.
Yes. And they get those guns from our own government.
Yeah, I heard about back in the day, they used to put barrels of guns in certain neighborhoods by railroad tracks where they knew gangs were.
Yeah, and they want this crime to continue.
Oh, yep.
For a reason.
What is that reason, Bandit?
They want an excuse to come in and take those cities over.
Martial law, baby.
I don't use that word. There's more. There's more to martial law than what people think, and I don't think they're going to use martial law. I think it's going. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not high enough to discuss that right now.
I understand.
But you know,
Well, I figure, I guess in a simple way from my perspective is they keep doing that, so that they can keep expanding their budgets and keep adding
It's-
more and more to the police state so that they could
that's the easiest explanation.
slowly but surely take that left and right boot and oppress every last one of us with it on the back of our head. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is truly something we need to take into focus and talk about and stop and stuff like that, because that's really what they're doing. And you know what? We've talked about this a lot before. Bandit talks about it and stuff too. I'm okay with the cities. If the cities want themselves, Luis, you need to escape. But like New York can devour itself. Bye bye. California can devour itself. Bye bye. Like
Have a good one.
I truly believe in the whole Simpsons Jetsons theory. Like me and Bandit are going to be out here living it up out on the river and some caves and shit, while there's dudes that are behind the wall in New York, and we're going to be having to send care packages to Luis because he's not going to escape in time.
We're gonna
Oh
get.
my
We're
God,
gonna.
I'm
Luis
gonna
is
be
gonna be
fine.
escaped from New York. All right.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
if I become what is it, Pliskin? Was it?
Yeah, Snake Plissken. Don't even say anything bad about that
Don't say
guy.
bad anything about
No,
Toad.
no.
Don't
I
say
like
anything
the
bad about.
No, I like the character. I loved it.
I love the
When I
character.
first saw it in Escape from LA, I was like, "What the fuck is this funny character?" I mean, the whole thing that they made a video game character out of that character. So, Liquid Snake is actually somewhat based off the character that was built there. Partially, it's not completely similar, but Hideo Kojima, one of the best game directors in the world. He makes pretty much the best game. Well, now he's going to become the artist of games. I mean, play Metal Gear. It's a political drama with espionage. It's one of the best games ever made.
Oh yeah.
All of them were amazing games. All of them.
Even the fifth one was great. It's just you have to play it for a while to get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The others start better. I'll give it 5. It starts badly. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
those games are long gone because he's no longer affiliated with Kojima. So
Yeah.
now he has his own studio.
Smart. But that's what's gonna happen. Like California, New York, Philadelphia are gonna be like the first dystopias in America. For sure.
No, it's gonna be those states that I mentioned. It's gonna just.
But this is the worst case scenario, guys.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it
Yeah,
is
This is
the worst.
absolutely and totally the worst possible case scenario.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, we're not gonna get there. Things are gonna happen, like Chop.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna happen again, in some capacity, in some way and form, and it might be left, or it might be right, or it might be maybe both, which will be really interesting to see. But
Yeah. It's just like Bandit said. It's just like Bandit said, though, they're gonna go to the big cities, try to put some kind of wall up, like some Mad Max type deal. If you don't follow our system, then you got to go outside the wall.
you can only
They don't even have to
happens in
put
one
up a
place.
wall. They don't even have to put up a wall.
Or Seattle. It happened in Seattle, and it happened in Oregon.
Yeah, they don't even have to put up a wall. I mean, they are the guardians of their own prisons. You know what I mean? The hardcore people that are so just
Do you remember the
asleep in the system.
remember that group that was murdered by the state
Which one?
in Philadelphia?
Waco?
That the state.
Oh, Waco,
No. It was
Ruby
a
Ridge,
group- No, it was in the 80s. We firebombed
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Philadelphia experiment.
No,
No.
The Philadelphia bombing.
Jump.
Philadelphia bombing, but the name
Yeah.
of the gang, I keep
Jump.
missing. Miles, Jump? What is it?
I
Yeah.
think it was Jump.
The move
Yeah.
movement.
Move. Thank
Yeah,
you. It was
they-
an
Yeah,
M.
I
The
was-
police dropped explosives.
Could you
Yeah.
show the picture, Jimmy? Because
I'm
this is a
working on it.
shocking one that when I learned about it, I was like,
You,
we what?
it's insane.
I learned
did
something
that.
about that bombing too. That
We
Somebody-
bombed our
somebody-
own.
We have
They
bombed
had
our own
some-
people.
We bombed our own people, but some of those old buildings may have been old Tatarian-like structures too.
I've heard that too.
I mean, I saw the
See-
pictures. They were not like special. They were just old
Yeah.
school homes. Look,
These
it's just old
guys-
school homes.
These
It's
guys.
brownstones. I mean, it's still a tragedy to see, but look at the
These
scale of it. It's
guys-
insane. And that's
Oh yeah,
Chicago.
it was. Oh my bad.
That's Chicago. Like that's something else. That's when they moved the building. But yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
have you
so-
seen pictures of Harlem in the 80s?
Man,
I've actually heard some of the stories firsthand. I have a good buddy that grew up in that area during there, and boy, howdy, them stories he's told me. At first, I thought they were sensationalized, but after talking to other people, they were like, "No, bro, Harlem was like a war zone back then."
I mean, now it's the Bronx. It just
Yeah.
moved.
yeah, turn
So-
into Gotham City live.
I don't know the finer details of all the hot zones, but AOC has one of the hottest zones in the entire city. Isn't it funny that she has literally the worst district in the entire city and does nothing for her people?
She getting that
700
money.
officials.
She ain't worried about their people. She worried about that paycheck.
She's
That-
worried about the climate change picture she did when her constituents are dying. They literally screamed at her, "We are dying," and like you're supporting the war effort, like you're a hypocrite. Like
You mean like Bernie Sanders finally selling out?
Thank
Again?
you. Thank you.
Again.
but those are their but Vermontian. Well, what is he? He's just senator.
Yeah, but he.
So
you
the
know,
Vermontians can scream at him. So I'll say that the people, because those are
Bernie's
his
a wimp.
constituents.
Bernie's a wimp. He's always folded for the DNC just so that he can have a name.
Folded.
Facts.
Folded.
He's
Oh well, I'm
over
for
and
the
over
people.
again. Yeah, like
As soon
he.
as they throw him a silver
Listen,
platter,
he-
he like, oh,
We
no.
were. I've actually researched into this a little bit, and there's okay. So once you get elected as something, you make a check for the rest of your life. Okay.
Yes. Once,
Right.
by the way, once in Congress. That's why I was telling
Yes.
Bandit here, hey, run for Congress. You get a
All right.
perfect paycheck for the rest of your life.
But check this out. All of that money that they raise for their campaign and stuff,
They get to keep it.
eventually it gets released and they get to keep it.
Yep.
So think about how many that's why Bernie has so much money, because he just
when he ran
campaigns
for
and
president.
he campaigns, makes all this money, and then goes and buys what, a sixth or seventh house? How many is he up to now?
That's why they are hounding the Democrats for those FTX donations now.
It's a billion, potentially $1 billion. That's
Yeah.
the most interesting. Like, again, I don't know. At least we know it's over 240 minimum. Not still, they say like 60 million. No, it's like it's a potentially $1 billion.
Yeah.
And they gave to the Republicans like $40 million.
He is in prison in the Bahamas right now.
So the
Facts.
Republicans are cheap dates. That's all I'll say. The Republicans were the cheap dates.
But they've got money coming from other places, though. I mean,
We're not
give me a
worried about
break, man.
Yeah, they're not worried about that.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of money, dude. $1 billion, and they bought the other side for 48 million bucks.
He screwed some very, very powerful people, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
very, very, very powerful people, and they're going to want their money back, and they're not going to get their money back, and
The other one.
he's just going to disappear.
He gonna wind up getting waterboarded somewhere. Shit.
Nah,
No,
that money is gone.
They found 1.8 billion, but that's still not enough. Okay,
That is-
so you want a TLDR, or like essentially, he was lending out to Alameda Research.
yeah, that's a good one.
No, okay, so this is what he did. He had a token, and then he put money in the token, and then the value of the token went up, and then he sent the money to himself. Not only that, so then they put a certain amount of money into that, and then they issued debt against it. And then they did it again. So they did it again. So they issued multiple times the debt from nothing. So there was no collateral on like $32 billion. So it was just like, so I gave up.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your money. I'm out to the Bahamas. Y'all ain't gonna never find me.
I mean, he literally printed money out of thin air, and the government doesn't like that.
No, only
They
they're
were-
allowed to print money out of thin air.
There,
Yeah.
exactly, but not their competition. That's how they don't. But DeFi would have prevented that. He was not a real exchange. He was a fake exchange.
Nah. If the
He was a
government
scam.
ain't getting a cut, you go get messed up.
Binance is collapsing.
Oh yeah, hands down.
It's 2,000 Bitcoin an hour. And if you know
Damn.
the size of Bitcoin, I mean it's
Man.
21 million. 2,000 Bitcoin at $16,000, a lot of money. A lot
Absolutely.
of collateral they're losing.
It is.
So, I've been having an absolute blast tonight. I know we're getting close to wrap up time. I want to start going around the table so we can start getting those final thoughts from everybody. And Voila-Me, since you've been my guest tonight, was there anything we didn't get to run over, or anything you wanted to say before we got?
Man, I appreciate you
Close
having. I appreciate you having me, man. It was good seeing all the wonderful people up on here: Neptune, Luis, Bandit. It's good to be here again. We got some good topics today, definitely.
Yeah, man.
So I love being here.
Always.
Yeah, man. You're always welcome over here, man. We try to keep up with each other a little bit more, man, because we love having you on and having you conversate with us. And I'm sure there's plenty more conversation coming for sure. Like you're always on spot with what you got going on over there. And speaking of that, you want to go ahead and plug anything you got going on?
Oh yeah, if y'all want to follow me on my Telegram is Soft Facts After Dark. If you want to follow me on TikTok, my TikTok is Voila-Me Infinity, and I'm also on YouTube as well. All these right here are my links, and I have merchandise now. That top link, click that. If you have any, oh yeah, I got other podcasts I've done with Jim Bob on here too. Y'all just check out the link tree right there. Link.
Hey, I seen the one where you jumped on there with my homeboy Nate over there from the Reality Czars, man.
Oh yeah, we did a good one over there, man.
Yeah.
But y'all can find me right here. Link tr.ee hyphen Voila-Me for all my links. Everything is right there.
That's right. And you guys know we'll have that right there. I'll make sure I put that direct one in for his Instagram and his TikTok, because that's where you can find him the most with things going on. And you guys give him some love and stuff like that, and go see what he's got going on. He's always full of great information. He's a real cool cat. That's why I like keeping him around here with us, man. It's what it's about, is all of us coming together and trying to do something about this stuff and talking about this crazy stuff. So, Bandit, what you got for me tonight, bud?
Man, I got nothing.
Nothing.
I just want to give a shout out to the fanboys.
What's up, fanboys? Neptune.
I got nothing, man.
You got no words of wisdom, nothing at all. Darn.
Shit posting memes will resume until civil disobedience.
Hey, I gotta give ourselves a pat on the back here.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but if you follow us over there on Facebook, we've been kind of dead for a little while. Things have been slow moving.
Well, they pick back up.
And in the past week, we have been on fire over there at Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates on Facebook. Man, I hadn't seen that page moving that good in a while, and I appreciate all you folks over there giving us that love, because, man, we love seeing our memes getting passed around by everybody on the internet. It puts a smile on our face, man. Like that. That's just one of those things. I totally love that.
I wonder where those people that are now historical artifacts of our history, and
they can bring the hate if they want. It just makes us stronger.
Oh no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like those living memes, the people that are living memes. Isn't that strange that you're like a part of history and pop culture, like how they feel like from an outside perspective?
Are you talking about the living, breathing, walking, talking memes?
Yeah, the people that like the babies are now like teenagers.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the people that have used like their faces or caricatures.
Their faces have been used for so long for just being
yeah. I recently, do you remember the one example I can remember specifically is the one where it was the girl standing in front of the house on fire.
Oh my God. The new Elon one, that was ugly. That was really disturbing ugly.
Yeah.
It was intentionally like the ugliest Elon that you could possibly imagine. Like demonic.
Luis, you got any words of wisdom for me?
Just keep questioning. Just keep questioning. Question.
And of course, again, you guys, I'll have everything to get back to Voila-Me, and we'll share some of those cool. I'm gonna get Luis to share some of those cool pictures over there on his section over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com. Your home for everything that's going on here, and where you can find all Voila-Me's links when you go to look for them. They'll of course be with this episode as well. And you guys know I can't get out of here without giving you something good to laugh at. So, why did the pirate confuse all of his Tinder dates?
Why?
They couldn't figure out if he was blinking or winking. You guys have a fantastic evening. Good night.